people to better see you, understand you, connect with you, align with you, see you as the proper leaders that you're meant to be, look towards you as the 10th house, the way you guide and govern others into aligning deeper within themselves. Your journey at this time is to heal. All right. Hello, Capricorn. My name is Kristen Simone Hansen, and welcome to SeaGoat Secrets. Hi, I'm Kristen, and I'm a healer. In this video, you are going to get a full rundown of Capricorn energy in the new age, the Aqua new age, and how to manifest using Capricorn energy, which applies to anybody of any Capricorn placements, and how to embrace this in order to live your life of wealth on a multitude of levels that go beyond finances, but into wealth of spirit, life, love, and existence. If at any point in this video you want to dive deeper with me and become a client, you can find that link here and also in the bio. I welcome you. And you guys know that I am a global citizen and I am happy to be back in the comments. So please drop where it is that you're listening from and let us all connect. Now, with all that being said, let's get into this. So, Capricorn. This video is going into the ins and outs about what it means to manifest in the new age. And by the new age, I mean the Aquarian new age. Now, we start the new age by pretty much, because everything works in beautiful divine order, by starting with the Aquarius Pluto. And when I say we are entering in new age, understand, because for some reason I've seen this misconstrued, the old age that we are leaving is the Piscean Age. We are moving into the Aquarian Age. The Pluto placement that we are leaving is the 15-year Capricorn Pluto and moving into the 22 years of Aquarius being in Pluto, which is pretty much happening in order to shift us into understanding the new age that will sit here for the next 2,000 years or so. Okay? When we want to talk about Piscean themes of the old age, I've talked about this before, but in the Piscean Age, it was all about, we were at the lowest vibration of our plane, of our worldly vibrational plane. It goes up and down the wavelength numerous times, so the millions of years humans have been here. The Piscean Age was not the first time that we hit a dark ages in our planet, and it will not be the last. But we all came here during that time, and when you're talking about being at the bottom of the wavelength in an age like Pisces, and why this time period is so transformational is because Pisces ends our clock. Pisces is the 12th. And in this case, it's the end and the beginning because we're moving into Aquarius. We're not moving into Aries, we're moving into Aquarius. The Aries age is the age of war, different things that we saw, like when Rome was at its highest and different things like that. Now we are in the Piscean Age, and that's where we saw Christianity take its center stage, right? The meek inheriting the world. What does it mean to be the sheep? Jesus Christ having the personality of Pisces. I've talked about this before. And the debauchery of the human experience. To be at its lowest vibration, humans started to look at each other where they ripped each other apart down to the bare bones of their existence. Things like separation based on genetics, human debauchery. That's the only way that I can describe it. That was us at our lowest vibrational plane as a species when we started to see each other through the wrong lens, basically, and we started to dehumanize one another. So here we are moving back up the wavelength, and we're doing so in a new age, which is the Aquarian Age. That's a part of the reason why if you go online, you see a lot of people's kind of idealizing the Aquarian Age when it doesn't have anything to do with Aquarius in terms of the idealization of it. It is the beginning of a new earth because of the end of Pisces, and most importantly, going up the wavelength. So yes, things are going to get better on a vibrational plane. Yes, the vibration of the planet is going to lift, but understand when the vibration lifts, there will always be an equal and opposite pull. Okay, so just like we were at the bottom of the Piscean Age and we saw the lowest forms of the ways that human could treat each other, because we think about Pisces. Pisces is the ultimate victim, and to be the ultimate victim means to be lower than animal in terms of So the opposite side of that was the exact opposite in the Piscean Age, which was the glorification of people through the lens of illusion, right? The glorification of purification, which is also the thing with Pisces as well. How illusions like Hollywood, right? How illusions could control the masses, political propaganda, different things like that. The lie, right? So equal and opposite. Okay, so here we are going up the vibrational wavelength. There will always be an equal but opposite pole. Okay, so yes, the Aquarian Age is great because we're moving into a new era. The vibration of our planet is increasing. So many things are going to change and shift, but there will be like a split, you know, so where many people are going up, other people are going down, and they're going to stay very much down. The lower vibrations of the Aquarian Age, I won't get too deep into it because I've spoken about it before, but are things like where technology can become very scary, where it's more about homogeny. So not necessarily separation, but more about everyone wanting to be so much alike that to have individualistic think can be a very difficult thing, and actually can cause political uproar or extremist control, basically, because you have to remember that Aquarius is still governed by half Saturn. So we're still looking at responsibility, discipline, law and order, politics. That's another thing that goes along with that. World governments, everyone being adhered to the same perspective, the loss of culture, the loss of cultural borders, the loss of identity. What does it mean to be the independent? What does it mean to be the individual, kind of losing its luster? Also, people trying so hard to be independent that, or so individualistic that it gets to a point of extremism. Fetishes being very prominent within society, kind of navigating itself within the street. The zombie mindset as well. Mental illness is the biggest scare in the Aquarian Age, versus in the Pisces Age, it was, again, human degradation, slavery, different things like that. In the Aquarian Age, it's more about the psychological, very much people experiencing their darkest karma through losing themselves, losing their minds completely at the loss of some kind of psychological control or domination. And also being lost in the illusion of technology. Yeah, so more and more and more, so I won't get into it. That is for another time. This video is specific to how it is that you grow and progress as your Capricorn energy during this time. Capricorn is big in terms of progress during the Aquarian Age, and through the Aquarian Pluto in specific is when it's important to embrace the Capricorn energy, because we have to remember that Aquarius is still governed by Saturn. So Saturn in general is going to take a whole new identity during the Aquarian Age, and is going to be looked at in a much different way. The awareness of the fact that to be on planet Earth is to be alive through the lens of Saturn, alive through the lens of understanding that you were only brought here, your spirit had to move through the Saturnian energy to be crystallized in our modern Earth. So all of this information kind of coming to naturalization, right? And then what does it mean to step yourself into understanding the truest form of Saturnian energy, which is the physical manifestation of things, which goes into Capricorn. And so when you embrace your Capricorn energy and you understand the depths of it, this is where you manifest what it is that you desire the most. Now, stereotypically, we are used to Capricorn being attributed to things like materialism. And it's understanding that materialism, like I've talked about in the Alchemy of the Devil video, materialism is much deeper than just money. Okay? It's much deeper than just the euro or the dollar. It's something that is what can be felt, touched, seen, again, crystallized in our earth. And especially when you want to talk about things like love, it is the kind of love that can be felt. The Ten of Pentacles love, right? The kind of love that is long lasting, that is deep, right? That is not just emotional, but it's everything else. It's the kind of thing that can last. What does it mean to create the kind of systems that are long lasting, that are not just based on emotional satisfaction, but deep worldly satisfaction? So from there, I want to get a little bit into the Pentacle. And when you understand the Pentacle, and I've spoken about this before, but understanding that the Pentacle is obviously the 5-star wrapped in a circle, right? The circle representing infinity, the 5-star representing the 5 points of our elements, right? We've got ether, we've got earth, we've got water, air, and fire. And all of these things together create the Pentacle, which obviously for those of you who are interested in tarot, you know this Pentacle. And when you see it, you get really happy because it represents money. It represents a love that truly is there to last, a tangible, literal new beginning, you know. But when we understand the Pentacle, what does it mean to generate this energy? It is that which is of substance. All of those elements together creating things that can be touched, felt, seen, and experienced. You are on this planet to experience, okay? When you separate yourself from what it means to be earth, what it means to be in the physical, you are separating yourself from your human experience and ultimately living in a space that you are never going to be actually satisfied with because it is not real. Okay, so again, when I talk about the dark side of the Aquarian age, it's being in a utopia, right? But a utopia that is programmed through a lot of the time technology that's kind of being simulated. It's like a simulation that is being brought to you, but it's not actually your reality, and getting lost in that. Versus when you can create the kind of reality on literal physical earth that you are feeling and touching that feels real. So instead of drinking like a virtual drink, is drinking a real one. Do you get what I'm saying? As simple as something like that. This is what we're understanding when it comes to Capricorn Saturnian energy. It is as simple as that. Separating from the naive viewpoint that material is something negative. It is what you are. You are materialized. You are a living, breathing, touched, felt individual. And it's to embrace that and understand that. Embracing the sensual, okay? And through that, that is why wealth will be built for Capricorn placements during the Aquarian Pluto if they know how to navigate it properly. Aquarius for Capricorn is its second house, which represents its self-worth, its self-value, all of its values. So your moralities, your perspectives, your integrity, the way you navigate your pentacles, what is it that you truly value? And for Capricorn, a lot of the time they value things that are aligned in Aquarian energy, which is making their finances in a very non-conventional way, how they navigate society, their social dynamics and their social networks, being able to bring in a lot of growth to them. A lot of you guys are going to be focused on, especially if you have Cancer placements, focused on your investments, how to expand your streams of income to pull things into you, pull Pentacles energy into you instead of working so hard for it. During the Capricorn Pluto, you were broken down numerous times in order to understand how to be better to yourself. And that being better to yourself, watering yourself, remember the water bearer, watering yourself is actually what brings about your best form of self-worth and increasing your self-value. You can do less and receive more. That is the biggest theme for Capricorn placements during the new age. And what does it mean to manifest wealth in the new age? So instead of the mind immediately going to what work do I need to accomplish, it is aligning with the value of the work, right? And the feeling of the work, and then expanding it that way. When we're talking about Aquarian and how it affects Capricorn, it's important for Capricorn to embrace its SeaGoat energy in order to truly expand the most during the Aquarian age, which goes back to your social networks. Major isolation is not going to work for you when it comes to the way in which you generate wealth. It is important for Capricorn placements to embrace their new leadership role. Capricorn is the leader, is the trendsetter, is the beauty standard energy during the next 20 years. That is the role that Capricorn will play during the Aquarius Pluto. If you continue to separate from that calling, you will continue to suffer. When you step into that limelight, when you step into your purpose, you have to understand that that is where you're going to generate your most wealth and your most comfort. And wealth being beyond just, because wealth is different than money. Wealth is different than riches. Wealth is an expansive feeling of fullness. You are the Pentacles, right? Remember the King of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles, the Empress, being fully abundant on a deep soul level. That every single thing, when I think one of the greatest ways I like to describe it is you can have assimilation, right? Which is, I hope you don't think I'm saying assimilation, but I'm saying a stimulation or assimilation. It's like a projection, like a hologram, you know? The dark side of aqua is like taking a fruit and eating it and not really having real substance to it. Are there really vitamins here, you know? How was it generated? How was it created? Versus the Saturnian energy is the practical apple, right? That was grown the traditional way, and then being able to eat it and actually embrace in, or I guess take in the nutrients, the vitamins coming into your body, right? The way in which it was organically crystallized in the full Saturnian way. So this is going to be appreciated a lot during the new era. Everyone's going to be interested in what's real, you know, not everyone, but a big respect for what's real and who's real, and what's actually authentic, and who's truly being themselves, you know, what is authentically unique, you know, substance. These are big things, big themes going on for the next 20 years. And that's another thing that you guys reign supreme in. And you've had to be broken down even more, especially for those of you guys who are holding on to facades or images or trying to adapt. Like I talked about in the healing video, trying to adapt to your environment by being less of yourself. You've had to be put into circumstances where you don't have a choice but to be your full self. And that authenticity created you and built you and made it so that you were ready for your new age, for your new role in society, which is a big leader. It can be a leader in your small sector, so it could be at work, it could be family dynamics. But for many of you, you're moving into a space of being public figures, public images, especially if you're musicians or politicians or whatever it may be. You're going to be standing on the top in terms of the way people see you and how they value your ideas. And it's requiring you to think more about the masses and less about the self. Now, you're still in a space where you're still focused on yourself because you're watering yourself, you're healing yourself at this very moment, which is March 2024 is when I'm making this. But this will continue to unleash. 2024 in general for you is a karmic year where you're giving back to yourself. When we step into the 9 year, which is the year about what you give to others, the humanitarian number of 9, this is where a lot of the work that you have been built up or building up in the age of the 8 will find itself in the age of the 9. Let's say you started a business here in the age of 8. We move into next year, which is 9, and that business is going to flourish a lot more when you made sure that that business was focused on how the individual outside of the self can grow through your product. You guys, many of you are being called to be healers, and the reason why is because the way in which you survived your Pluto transit. You guys are being called to be entrepreneurs, again, because of the way you survived the Pluto transit. I talked about this in the healing video, which can be found here. But why is it that you are called to be healers? It's because you are on the journey of healing the self. Capricorn naturally goes through that. To be refined, refinement is one of the words that is aligned with Capricorn energy, because what does refinement mean? Perfection is to pick apart the self and to make the self something that maybe isn't naturally, or can kind of chop and screw yourself to make yourself a little bit different. Refinement is to take as you naturally are and mold yourself like clay. I've also mentioned this in the Capricorn, Loving the Capricorn Woman video as well. And how is it that she refines herself instead of tries to create herself into something that she is not? She takes the features, she takes her quirks and, you know, her natural looks, you know, her natural eyes or her natural face or hair, whatever it may be, and she molds it into being something that is beautiful or comfortable for herself, right? And that's the thing about the Capricorn woman's energy, and it creates an elegance and an organic, natural, ethereal beauty, but more of, like I said, an underworldly kind of ethereal beauty, like somebody, like some ocean creature that just popped up and kind of looks a little different. And that's her kind of, that's her image, I guess, right? So with that being said, when we're going into understanding refinement, what does it mean to refine? It's to heal, you know. It's not to change your natural way and force it to be something different, which is suppression. It is to take what it is that you are and sculpt it into something that is beautiful. To refine the self, to refine the body, to sculpt the self is to heal the self. Capricorn is notorious for taking something that was once a detriment, right? Something they could have been made fun of for, and turning it into their most beautiful asset. It could be their scars, it could be their chipped nose, it could be their gapped teeth or something like that. And they beautify it, they refine it in order to make it something that is a strength instead of a detriment. They are healing their relationship with their selves. Capricorn, because you're going from heaven to hell, or hell to heaven all of the time, which what we call is going from the bottom of the mountain to the top of the mountain, your journey in this world is to constantly heal. That's why you are the achiever. That's why you are the one determined to always reach the top. That's what that journey is about. So you guys have had to perfect this in order to survive the Pluto transit, and that's why you are going to be great healers during the new era. And that's why many of you have been called to be healers, whether it's in a traditional sense or whether it's through a new business, whether it is through a new service that has nothing to necessarily do with holistic healing work, but it heals a concept. It could be that you have found, because of your own experience, you found a way to heal the relationship between client and colleague, right? You found the way to heal, bring more sustainability in corporate environments, you know, different things like that, but it's still ultimately healing into whatever dynamic that it is that you're going into. And this is a part of what will make you a leader and a pioneer during the Pluto transit. For example, Greta Thunberg, she is the climate, she's the child, I don't know if she's a kid anymore, climate change activist. She's a Capricorn. So it kind of gives you an idea of what I mean. We're going to see her take a full circle and really get big during the next 20 years as an advocate for climate change and climate progression. This is not a political video. I've talked about my career in the past and how I am in sustainability for the work that I do, but I will not get into that or expand on it. But I'm using her as an example in terms of Capricorns that are going to take very big places in our world over the next 20-year transits, and 20-year transit, and what to look out for and why. So the more you expand on how you can better create for the individual what we call the human experience, humanitarianism, right? You think, okay, what is it, because of what you've healed within yourself, you think of how to take what it is that you've learned and the wisdom that you have and how to apply it to someone else. So instead of thinking of things like business strategies, or again, when you separate yourself from your tail and you're like, oh, this is what I think other people would want, or this is an idea that I've come up with, because you're separating from your emotional intuitive body. Dive deep into the emotional intuitive body and look at your own experiences. Don't separate yourself from your experiences and turn yourself into this dry figure that can figure it out intellectually, but embrace the depths of the self and find your wisdom to tell you what it is that society needs. And when you go within that space, you'll be able to create the right product or service or statement that society will embrace for you to sit in that leadership role and give people what it is that they need to water them, right? Age of Aquarius, to water the individual through an experience that you have experienced yourself directly, something that you are very, very good at, something that you know very well because it's your own journey. And this is where you will expand. This is where you will find your wealth in terms of your career and your purpose. You guys are being called to big purposes. all of you in my client circle, you continue to go on, and we find these deeper life paths time and time again in terms of what you're being called to do, because you are being pushed into the limelight, and you're going to be there during this transit, and you need to embrace it, because if you resist it, you will fall. So it's time to step into that area and show the world what does it mean to truly understand Saturnian energy. And for you guys, it is about healing because of your heaven to hell experience. It is about the illumination of what is in the dark and how to convert it to the light. And that is your role. And that is, the planet is in need of healing right now, especially over the next 20 years. We're going to see a lot of that in terms of people, economy, ecologically. Sorry, I'm kind of stuttering through this video. But yeah, so on a multitude of levels, the planet is in deep need for healing. And so that is why you have been called to take that role, because you guys know how to heal because of your own breakdowns, okay? You are never called to be a healer unless you've experienced the process. You've experienced the process. So align with your truth in order to bring forth your new beginning. Remove the shame of your experiences. Remove the shame of your dark. Remove the part of yourself that wants to be the perfect figure that shows up in the world this idealistic way. What makes you ideal is your journey. The journey as raw and as authentic as it is. Your traumas and your tales are exactly what will connect you to what it is that you need to do in order to get people to better see you, understand you, connect with you, align with you, see you as the proper leaders that you're meant to be, look towards you as the 10th house, the way you guide and govern others into aligning deeper within themselves. Your journey at this time is to heal. Okay? That's your role. Now, everyone else has different roles, but we are focused on you, especially for you guys with the Capricorn moon placements. Your song, many of you are singers. Many of you are feelers, deep feelers, or you're channelers, as in you are creators. You know how to do a lot of things with your hands. You're being called toward artistry. You're being called toward, it could also be artisan work. Anything that is the manifestation of those emotions within your deep emotional body finding us. Move through this depth of self. Take these dark corners and illuminate. And that is where you'll grow, progress, and thrive. Okay? So that's, I don't know if I'm going to say that is it. I want to dive deeper into this, but I'll leave it here for now. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say, but it's all about channeling, as I said. So the full navigation of your energy, where you find the viewpoint of what you need to heal. Whatever industry it is, where does it need to be healed? And that's where you'll find, where you'll identify the birthplace of your wealth. And when it comes to love and your relationships and wealth within those spaces, it is aligning with the kind of partners that feel deep within the soul. So no more status-based relationships or trying to turn someone into something that they are not, or trying to see, the potential in someone. No longer looking for the potential in individuals, but the relationships that feel the most healing is where you're going to find wealth and love. So the person that feels the most healing, when you guys get together, there's either a softness or a completeness that feels very good, right? It's not about what is on the external, but it feels like it heals you. Someone you can be a little bit broken with, someone you can be very honest with, someone who, again, they're watering you. That's where you're going to find the wealth in your love and your relationships. And that's romantically and others. So do not look for anything that seems good on paper, or getting caught up in the smoke and mirrors of what people project to you, because people tend to project a lot of things to you guys because it's clear that you have a lot. Even if it's literal, even if it's just your identity, people tend to, we talked about this in the user video, people like to use you guys for what it is that you have, whether you have a lot of pentacles or just your worth or your value, the way you navigate yourself. You have the things that, in society we want to see, that substance, and you guys continue to adapt to the ages. So whatever the new age represents in terms of what substance means, in terms of what truly manifesting wealth on earth, or being able to have the real deal, that tends to be what you guys represent. You tend to be, you know, the authentic version of things, the serious one in the workplace, right? Where everyone's kind of pretending to be serious, you're actually serious. Where the music is, you know, supposed to be deep, but it's not really deep, you're actually feeling it, you know? So you guys tend to manifest into whatever that means, and you have manifested, you have been created into becoming what it means for the new age. So this is how you generate wealth in your relationships. And also when it comes to generating wealth in your health, most importantly, there's a big focus on, because the second house is the way you handle your eating habits, the way you handle your body directly. And so, you know, it's governed by Taurus. Taurus is not necessarily always known for desiring to live the healthiest life. But for you guys, as your second house is in Aqua, that is part of the reason why Capricorn tends to be so passionate about what you put into your body, how you handle your body. Even if you're not always the most fit, you guys tend to want to feel lighter in your body, like your body is an organic moving vehicle. So with that being said, there's going to be a big focus for you on food and health. And I've mentioned this before in terms of many of you guys wanting to kind of live off the grid. What does it mean to embrace the truest wealth, which is freedom? Okay? Wealth during the Aquarian Age is freedom. The more freedom you have, the more wealthy you are. Freedom to love, because the person that you love, you have a true, deep, healing relationship with this person. So there is freedom there. There is not a codependency because you're reliant on this person for something outside of you. What does it mean to have freedom in terms of the way you navigate business? Because you guys have been drawn to and pulled toward entrepreneurship. And what does it mean to provide the kind of service where it's always in need, right? Being leaders in terms of teaching people how to navigate the individual and how to add to the community, how to provide a working system. Okay, we're moving into a new world, and so then systems have to change, which is why you guys are leaders, because you are the navigators of the system. Okay, so big deal. And also, in terms of, sorry, bringing it back, I'm just excited, so I keep going around, but bringing it back to what it means to your health. Most of you guys are going to be big on what you put into your bodies, how you calisthenics too, like moving into alternative ways to be healthy. What does it mean to, again, less is more, because you guys have had to understand scarcity. When Aquarius was in Saturn, it was teaching you how to be better during Aquarius and Pluto. So if you don't have any weights, what does it mean to not be connected to the gym, to not be addicted to lifting something? You have releasing codependency, right? You guys have had to learn how to release codependency, to be self-reliant through scarcity, through things being taken away from you that you didn't need, through realizing that the materials that you have don't have any substance, and really you just desire to be free of the things around you. You have learned that wealth is about freedom. And so you're going to be the pillars of that, the leaders in understanding that. So being healthy and being fit, more through things that are just more organic. What does it mean to eat the kind of foods that make it so that you're taking the best care of yourself? This is what brought me into you guys being gurus in terms of teaching people how to have homesteading. Homesteading is a big thing for a lot of you guys. A lot of Capricorns are being called to wanting to homestead, buy land. What does it mean to run a business through the land that you have? Build small communities within that space. Be leaders in terms of that dynamic. So just different things like that, which is exciting. I will end this because I know I'm going on and on. But yeah, so let me know your thoughts and if you want me to dive into this deeper in the future, okay? So I love you. Ciao.